Have you ever looked at someone once you really loved and thought, what did I even see in them? What if the answer lies in not who they were, but what they have awakened within you? Kalian believed that we don't fall for people, we fall for archetypes that live inside us. For women, it's animus, the unconscious masculine side, and for males, that is anima, the unconscious feminine side. These aren't just poetic metaphors, they are the active forces that shapes how we love, crave, and how we hurt. Let's dive deep into the understanding of anima and animus and unlock a healthier version of your relationship. You are not just falling in love with a person, you're falling in love with an image already inside your mind. According to Jung, the anima and animus are the psychological blueprints of opposite sex buried deep in our brain. They are formed earlier by the interaction with our mother, father, siblings, and culture, but they don't just stay in past. They influence how we see every romantic relationship in our lives. The magical feeling, you complete me, it's often unconscious saying the person matches your inner image. But that's where the story gets beautiful and dangerous. You think you know them, but you are really seeing you. Projection happens when we transfer our inner anima or animus onto someone else. It's like wearing tinted glasses. You don't see the person who they are, but as you need them to be. Young said, every man carries within him the eternal image of a woman, not the image of this or that particular woman, but a definite feminine image. That's who we fall for, not a person, but an ideal. It feels intoxicating at first, but eventually the crack shows. The real person doesn't match our fantasy, and we feel disillusioned and even betrayed. Ever had a partner who is unpredictable, controlling, and overly emotional? That could be their animus or anima running the show. When these archetypes are underdeveloped, they create chaos. A man with repressed anima might be emotionally reactive, clingy, and overly sentimental. A woman dominated by animus may be overly critical, cold, and dominating. At first, these traits are magnetic. We mistake intensity as intimacy. But over time, same traits that drew us in begin to exhaust us. This is the emotional cost of unchecked projection. They are not enemies, they are bridges connecting your ego to your soul. Anima and animus aren't just psychological baggage, they are the pathways connecting your conscious to the unconscious, your logic to emotion. In art and mythology, these figures show up as muse, sage, lovers, and guides. In dreams, they often appear as mysterious, strange characters and enchantments. As Young said, without them, your psyche remains incomplete. Man up, don't be bossy sounds familiar, right? Society reinforces rigid gender roles. What is repressed don't disappears, it festers. It shows up in dream, art, obsessions, and breakdowns. Young warned, when these archetypes are denied, they return in distorted and destructive forms. Healing begins by reclaiming these qualities we were told not to have. The goal is not to find the one, it is to become one within yourself. This is what Young called individuation, a journey of becoming whole by integrating the unconscious. This means recognizing your projections, reflecting in your own emotional triggers, listening to your dreams, and engaging in creative and competitive practice. You begin to embody both masculine and feminine qualities without shame and overcompensation. This is the sacred marriage Young spoke for, an inner balance that make you less needy, more competent, and capable of genuine love. What once distorted your love can now fuel your art, your purpose, your soul. The anima and animus are powerful creative forces. Great artists, thinker, and mystic often speak of inner voices, visions, and divine inspiration. That's animus and anima, offers wisdoms and insight when we integrate them. You can channel these energies into art, writing, innovation, spiritual practice, and emotional intelligence. They stop ruling your love life and start enriching your inner life. You don't need someone to complete you. You need someone to meet you as whole as you are. When you stop projecting your animus or anima, you stop expecting someone else to be your missing piece. You begin to choose partners with clarity, not desperation, communicate with empathy, not emotional chaos, and grow together from a place of strength, not illusion. So ask yourself, what part of me I have been chasing in others, and what might happen if I turned inwards instead. This is the work Young pointed out. It's not easy but transformative. If this resonates, don't just scroll past. Take a small step towards wholeness. Like and subscribe for more psychological breakdowns. Share this with someone who keep falling for the same type. drop a comment, and remember, real love isn't about just finding a perfect person. It's about seeing clearly, loving fully, and becoming whole.